Hello, once again, Miami Dolphin fans. It's your man JT, and of course, we're here to talk about the Miami Dolphins because it is week one of the 2018 NFL season. The wait is finally over. Training camp is come and gone. The preseason is come and gone. The roster cuts have come and gone. And it is now time to get ready for some football, and I'm very, very excited. The Dolphins have already made this week pretty interesting with a whole bunch of roster moves and cuts being made, even past the deadline Saturday, still making cuts as recently as yesterday. Some of the big interesting ones, they brought in a fourth quarterback in Luke Falk, formerly of the Tennessee Titans and a rookie from Washington State. It'll be interesting to see if he's here just for some intel on the Titans or if he's actually going to be viewed as a developmental quarterback situation. But that keeps four quarterbacks on the roster, at least for week one. And so pretty interesting situation to say the least here. But then you're also talking about Brandon Bolden, special teams running back was added. Travis Swanson, they brought him in, but they ended up letting him go. Sam Young, they cut him and brought him back. So all kinds of moves going down, send up the practice squad, all that stuff as the Dolphins get ready for week one of this season against the Tennessee Titans. And I think this is going to be a really interesting game, a good game, and should be a good test for the Miami Dolphins early because I think both of these teams are similar in a lot of ways. But I think the Titans have a little bit more of a proven, established team, at least on their side of the field. I don't know if the Titans are necessarily more talented than the Dolphins, but I think what they have is a little bit more established, and they kind of have an identity already with that running game. They have Derrick Henry, they have Dion Lewis, they have a good offensive line. They're definitely going to try and run the ball down your throat, which is something the Dolphins are going to have to try and stop, which could be a problem because the run defense did not look good in the preseason. Most people don't expect the Dolphins' run defense to be very good, but you're just going to have to rely on guys like a Jordan Phillips, who a lot of people think can be a disruptor, as well as those linebackers. You're talking about Kiko Alonso. I'd probably rely a little bit more on a Chase Allen this week. I think he can get to that to get to the running back, and then of course like a Raekwon McMillan and a Jerome Baker. Those guys, whoever's starting, needs to be able to cover the pass, cover the run, because Mariota can definitely throw the ball too. I think there's a lot of comparisons, though, when you look at this Titans and this Dolphins team. The Dolphins also are going to be trying to run the ball a lot more when you talk about Kenyon Drake, who broke out last year, adding Frank Gore in there, who is recently coming off a 900-yard season, and then fourth-round pick Kalen Ballage, as well as some improvements to their offensive line. They're going to try and take that running game that was 29th in the league last year and definitely make some improvements in the running game. Both quarterbacks, I think, are very similar when you look at Tannehill and Mariota. Mobile guys, that have some good athleticism. They're not scramblers, but they're definitely going to try and move around a little bit. I think both have a little bit of an underrated deep arm. And then also, just neither guy is Aaron Rodgers. They're not elite. They're not going to go out there and do it themselves. But if you put them in a good situation, good coach, some good players around them, you can win a lot of games with both a Mariota and a Tannehill. So I think it's going to be interesting there. And then when I look at both defenses, I think both defenses are good and have a lot to like, but they also both have a lot of holes. These aren't fully developed defenses yet by any means, and they're not to the level that I'm sure both fan bases would want them. So that's also going to be an interesting point as far as which quarterback goes out there and has the best game. That could be a huge factor, really. And then, of course, the defense. I think another thing the Dolphins are going to want to try and take advantage of is while maybe the players and the identity of the Titans is a little more established, this is Mike Vrabel's first game as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans on the road. That's a very difficult situation, and a really good thing for the Dolphins would be if Adam Gase can out-coach the Tennessee Titans in this one, because we saw with Gase in his early on in his career, his first year, even when he went 10-6 and made the playoffs. First two games both on the road against quality opponents. You start off 0-2. You come back, you get the home win. Then you're back on the road against the Bengals primetime. Again, lost. And a couple of those games definitely felt like the team was getting out-coached. And so the Dolphins are going to want to take advantage of that youth and inexperience. As far as a winner in this game, it's really hard to say because I haven't seen the Tennessee Titans. Yes, they were a playoff team last year, but they were only a 9-7 wildcard team. Things can change, and it's going to be interesting to see how quickly their head coach can adapt to those responsibilities. And then the Dolphins have a lot of question marks, and I think there's some untapped potential there. and some really good young players, but it's going to be interesting to see who can shine through and who's going to be a problem on this team. So both of those things make it hard. I might say just because they have a little bit more established, and especially in a close game, they could. I think the Titans players, veterans, they probably could find a way to pull this game out a little bit better and maybe have a better chance of winning. But I think it's going to be a close game regardless, and I think it's really going to be a good test for both teams. I'm not sure what the national opinion on in this game. The spread's not too large, but I really think there are some key things the Dolphins can do and get out of there with the Week 1 home victory, which would really be key. To me, this is the toughest of the first three opponents. This is definitely the toughest game, and it's going to say a lot about this team because you start to look at the Jets, young roster, rookie quarterback. Then after that, I don't know what the Raiders are doing. So a win over the Tennessee Titans could really do some good for the Miami Dolphins here and get their season going. But let me know what you think about this game and what do the Dolphins need to do to get that victory, and hopefully they get it done. But nonetheless, football is back. Time to get excited, and I will see y'all after the game.